everyone, welcome to my first ever YouTube video. I'm not gonna lie, I've taken about 10 takes already because I don't know how to do this, but I'm giving it a shot. I'm winging it. I've wanted to do this for a while and I'm finally pushing myself. So I thought for my first video that I'd do a bit of getting to know me and how I started with photography. So I'm just gonna get straight into it. So let's start with a little bit about me. For those who don't know me from Instagram, my name is Rachel Canali. I'm from Melbourne. I'm 21 and I'm international photographer, mainly specializing in fashion and portfolios. So photography was always a hobby of mine. I grew up on a strawberry farm out in the Yarra Valley with my family. We have 80 acres out there. So I spent my childhood taking photos of all my animals. We have like a zoo, landscapes, sunrises, you name it. I was taking photos all the time. But I only ever saw it as a hobby. I never considered it to be a career path. When I was about year 8, my dad went and saw a psychic and she actually predicted that I'd be a photographer. And at that point, I had no interest in it being a career path for me. I was like, no, it's just a hobby. Like, you can't make money out of it. So I kind of just brushed it off and I was like, no, I don't believe any of that. So my whole family completely forgot about it. And I think I was year 12 when we remembered and we're like, oh, it's kind of weird. It's creepy. It actually came true. So through the start of high school, I was convinced that I wanted to be a graphic designer, mainly because I had no idea what I wanted to do. And my mum was kind of like, you're really good at art. That's your thing. You'd be really good at graphic design. So I kind of just took her word for it. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna be a graphic designer. So then we had to do work experience for school and I went and got myself work experience at a graphic design business. And I was there for a week and I hated it like so much. I came home crying and I was like, Mum, I can't do an office job. Like, I can't sit there 9 till 5 in a small room because I'm used to 80 acres on the farm. I was like, no, I can't do this. That career's out the window, but I'm so grateful that I did do it because or else I probably would have followed that into uni and then decided that's not what I wanted. So I saved myself a bit of time there. But they actually had a photography service as well that I noticed. And I started asking some questions and I was like, oh, how much do you charge for photography? What are the details? And they told me and I was like, that's good money. That just like went off in my head and I was like, oh, so you can make money from photography. So I think that's kind of where it started. And then I was like, oh, you know, I might see that through. So I kind of put photography in the back of my mind and I decided to try out modeling. So I went and got a portfolio done when I was about 15 and I loved it, but I was more obsessed with the photos than the experience. So I think that was a real turning point for me where I was, and because it was portfolio, so I was like, you know what? I really want to do portfolios, fashion. This is the kind of thing I want to do. So after that, that's where I really went in that direction. So then following that, I decided to make myself an Instagram to start sharing my photography work. I did a bit, it was more like lifestyle kind of, you know, goals stuff. I was very influenced by Jay Alvarez. It's pretty cringe to look back on now. I've deleted all the photos, but my friends still remind me. I'm like, no, let's just not talk about that part of my life. But so I started my Instagram. I think I was year 10 or 11 at that point, and I was like, I just want to build it so that way by the time I get out of high school, I'll have some work to go straight into, because I know with the creative industry, it takes a while to build your name. So when I got onto Instagram, I started following all these other photographers, and I saw that they were traveling the world, shooting with these big brands. And I remember a specific conversation I had with one of my best friends, and I was like, that is the lifestyle I want. Like, I never wanted something so bad in my life. I was very hungry for it. So I was like, I'm willing to do anything it takes. So I'm actually self-taught and I would get up before school at 6 a.m. I was watching YouTube. I bought online courses. I was asking friends to come over and do photo shoots with me. I joined Facebook pages. So I was doing TFP at that point, which is time for print. So you get a creative team together and everyone works for free and then they can use the photos to self-promote. So I was doing a bit of that at the time. And because I was so young, I used to bring my mum along with me and I had to explain to the team, I'm like, oh, this is my mum, Dawn. She's also my assistant and I'm on my L plate, so I can't drive myself. So she came along with me, but that was also nice because I was very nervous going into it at such a young age. My parents have definitely been my biggest mentors. I doubt that I'd be where I am without them today. So my mum is a business/life coach and property investor, and my dad is a farmer and property investor. So growing up around them, I definitely got really good work ethic. So my dad's a farmer, so he will be up when the sun rises and he only finishes work when it sets. So he's very grateful for daylight savings. But just seeing how hard he works and how dedicated he is really influenced me and my sister growing up. I have a little sister, by the way. And I've also found that being in the creative industry, there is a lot of doubt in you. So you have to be very tough-minded or just very determined that none of that's going to get to you. The first would have been my dad, but don't get me wrong, he's very supportive. But at first, when I told him I wanted to be a photographer, he was like, why would you want to do that? There's no money in it. Like, how are you going to support yourself? And my mom kind of put him in his place and was like, no, as long as she follows her passion, she'll find a way to monetize it. And I think that kind of like got him on board. But so many people, I had one of my teachers in high school tell me to put photography on hold because it was distracting me from my studies. And I was like, I don't want to do algebra forever. So sorry, opinion not valid here. I've had so many doctors give me their opinion on my career choice. I think maybe 5 times now. I'll just be going in because I have like a cold or I need a prescription. And one particular time, my doctor was just making small talk and he was like, oh, you know, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a photographer. And he's like, is that all you do? I was like, yes. He's like, oh, you know, maybe you should consider going back to university and you can get a real job like me, because being a photographer is like you're quitting and just taking the easy way out on life. And I was like, I didn't come here for life advice, but thank you for that. So right before I came out of high school, I got myself work experience with the Herald Sun. It was only a week thing, but I got to go around with the journalist photographers and see all the jobs they got to do. So there's a lot of variety in that. So I went and shot the ballet. We went on set for Neighbours. We did a photo shoot with Rebecca Judd. We went to the Eureka conference room for the AFL Grand Final ad with Channel 7. So I got to see a bit of everything, which was really exciting. But it also confirmed in my head that that wasn't the area of photography that I wanted to steer into. Fashion was definitely the area that I wanted to go towards. So coming out of year 12, I was really unsure on whether I should do some further education on photography or if I already knew everything I need to know from being self-taught. But in my opinion, you can never stop learning. So I went and did a 1-year diploma at Swinburne to kind of fill in the blanks of what I hadn't already taught myself. A big reason I did it was for more the legal and business side. So I learned about contracts, how to contact brands and all of that. And then also the contacts that I gained from it. So my uni teachers, I have them in my phone. So if I ever have a problem, I can just text them, and they've been in the industry for years. So it's really helpful to have them just in my phone. So I've now been out of the education system for 2 years. My business has been running for about 4.5 years, and I've been shooting my entire life. Now I'm shooting with my favorite brands, shooting internationally, and overall I am just loving life. So the main thing that inspired this video was I was at lunch a few weeks ago with a friend of a friend, and she really wants to grow her photography business. So she was asking me a few questions, and she said to me, like, I don't know what to do. It just came so easy for you. And I was like, what? Like, it couldn't be further from the truth, but I get it. No one really posts the real behind the scenes on their Instagrams. The Instagram keeps it looking very glamorous, let's say that. No one posts the early mornings, the late nights, the stress, the tears, and trust me, there's been lots of those. I'm a complete stress head, so my best friends can back me up. There's been lots of stressful moments for me. Being in the creative industry is not a 9-to-5 job. It's a 24/7 hustle, constantly working, but it's totally worth it because you're following your passion. And to me, I'd choose passion over money any day, because as long as you're happy, that's all that matters, really. So I hope this little insight to my life and how I started helped. And I guess I'll be back for video number 2. And I think this is where I say like, subscribe, somewhere up here, but I don't really know where. So do that and I'll be back for the next video. See you later. Until then.